Hey there, it's Jess, and this is video number 7 of our 30-day Learn to Sew challenge. Today's video is all about how to change presser feet. Plus, I'll share some of my favorite presser feet, which help make project construction a whole lot easier. Today, I'm using the Baby Lock Jubilant. Like this machine, most machine presser feet simply drop off and snap on. However, some mechanical machine feet screw off and on, which is easy to do. You just have to make sure you're attaching a foot with the same shank. Start by making sure that your needle is raised to the highest position. You can do so by turning the hand wheel towards you and checking to see if the take-up lever is at the highest point. If your machine is a computerized machine and has the capability to have a needle up, needle down button, you can push the button twice, and that'll make sure that the needle is at the highest point. Then it's best practice to turn off your machine, and then you can raise the presser foot by lifting the presser foot lever. Then on the back side of the presser foot holder, there's a black button, and you'll simply just push it towards you and the foot will pop right off. So then you can remove this foot and take the appropriate presser foot that you'd like to attach. And you'll notice that there is a pin on the presser foot, and you'll align that pin underneath the notch on the presser foot holder as best you can, and then you'll lower the presser foot lever and it will snap in place. So you might have to adjust it so it's aligned, and then you should hear that snap and you know that your foot is attached. So you can raise and lower the presser foot lever just to make sure that the foot is attached, and then you can turn on your machine and you're ready to sew. Definitely take advantage of the vast range of presser feet available on the market. Presser feet can make sewing more pleasurable, help add unique stitching details, and make it easier for professional looking results. Quickly, I want to share with you some of my favorite go-to presser feet that I reach for over and over again. The all-purpose foot is designed for general sewing and decorative stitches. So this is the foot that comes with most sewing machines. A variety of techniques and tasks can be accomplished with an all-purpose foot. However, certain types of fabrics or techniques may be difficult to perform with this foot. So you may want to choose a different presser foot for those types of techniques or fabrics. Usually an all-purpose foot has a button on the left side of the foot, and that is used for when you're sewing over thicker materials. You can reference the instruction manual that came with your sewing machine for more details on the all-purpose foot. This foot is called an open toe foot, which is also designed for applique or doing decorative stitches. So this foot can easily maneuver around curves and angles for attaching applique or doing some of those thicker, denser stitches for extra detail. The foot is clear, which makes it really nice to see through and make sure that you are stitching exactly where you want to. There's even a center line for a guide, so that way you can follow along the edge of your fabric or your quilting lines. On the underside of the foot, there's a groove, since this foot is designed to feed the fabric through easily underneath the foot, or so that way your stitches glide underneath the foot easily as well. Next up is the button sewing foot, and this foot allows buttons, charms, and eyelets to be sewn to projects with your sewing machine instead of hand stitching them. So to use this foot, you'll set the stitch width to the same width measurement as the gap between the holes on your button, charm, or eyelet. So then your machine will stitch a zigzag stitch. Make sure that the length is set to 0 so the stitch doesn't go forward or backward, and it will stitch through each of the holes to attach your button or charm or eyelet to your project. You'll notice that there is a lever at the back side, and that will help put downward pressure onto the item that you're stitching to your project. And then there's blue rubber grippies that are attached to the front of the foot, which also help prevent your button from shifting as you sew. I don't sew on buttons or charms or even eyelets a whole lot, but when I do, this foot is very handy for a secure stitch versus the hand sewing. Next, I want to show you the buttonhole foot. So this foot will likely have come with your machine if your machine has the ability to create a one-step buttonhole. So the buttonhole foot is designed to stitch custom size buttonholes in one simple step. So you'll notice at the back of the foot, you can adjust the size. So you'll place your button on the back chamber of the foot, and you can so that chamber is the exact size of your button. Then you'll snap on the foot, and when you go to sew your one-step buttonhole, the machine will know how far back to stitch and how far forward, so that way you have the exact custom size buttonhole for the button that you have in the foot. On the back side of the foot, you'll notice that there is some grip adhered to the bottom, so that way it makes sure that everything stays nice and stable and flat as you stitch your buttonhole. All right, so pay close attention because this foot is my favorite. This is the narrow zipper foot, and it's designed to stitch along the edge of a zipper, a seam for top stitching, or even straight stitch applique. It's also handy for sewing over piping and close to hardware for precise installation. The narrow zipper foot has more visibility than a standard zipper foot. This foot also comes as a Teflon narrow zipper foot, so on the back side of the Teflon version of this foot, there's a Teflon coating to make inserting and top stitching zippers a breeze. It's also useful for close top stitching and edge stitching of difficult to feed fabrics such as faux leather, vinyl, and laminated cotton, and also leather. Another great foot to have is the straight stitch foot. And this foot has a single hole and a narrow view of the fabric, so that way the foot can apply more pressure to the feed dogs and help hold the fabric in place while stitching for a consistent straight stitch. So this foot is crucial if you're doing top stitching on the outside of a project, quilting lines, or any other areas that you want your straight stitches to be very consistent. A Teflon foot is essential for bag making since it's designed for feeding tacky fabrics such as faux leather, vinyl, laminated cotton, and leather. This foot has a non-stick coating which allows the fabrics to glide through easily. A walking foot, also known as an even feed foot, works with your machine to feed the layers of fabric evenly at an equal rate through your machine. So this foot has what it looks like feed dogs attached to the foot. So it's almost like you have feed dogs on the top and bottom, which are guiding the fabric through at that even rate. To attach this foot, you'll need to remove your presser foot holder, which is easily done. You simply unscrew it from your machine, and the lever on the foot gets placed over the needle bar, so that way the foot will raise and lower those feed dogs that are attached to the foot itself. You can use a walking foot for quilting or sewing bags, patchwork, and even clothing. And the last foot I want to share with you is the standard zipper foot, which is used for inserting and top stitching zippers, trim, piping, and other embellishments to bags, home decor, and apparel. Most zipper feet are adjustable to the position of the zipper tape being sewn. Honestly, I don't use a standard zipper foot that much since I always use the narrow zipper foot, but this foot comes standard with most machines. So if you don't have access to a narrow zipper foot, your standard zipper foot will become your best friend for bag making. I hope you enjoyed these tips and recommendations on presser feet. I know I went through a lot of information quickly, but I wanted to cover the basics and leave some space for feedback and comments. So if you do have any questions, please comment below and we will try our best to answer those questions. Also, I hope you'll check out the rest of our 30-day Learn to Sew challenge, where I'll continue to guide you through the basics and we'll create 6 beginner-friendly projects. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, click the button below and don't forget to click the alarm bell so that way you get notified when we release a new video. I hope to see you soon. Bye!